the greatest sports debate show on the
For the first time since 2016, we have got a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
championship rings. Starring Brandon
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. They won the championship ring.
I am loving this feud. Don't you dare shit on this. Don't you dare.
I'm gonna shit on the stipulation of it.
Oh my god, the stipulation is fantastic.
Now,
Football season is back. We are back. It is a Sunday morning. New intro. We are live. This is Championship Rings on the last day of August of 2025. As always, Brandon Lewis, the host of Brandon's World. Josh Ungar, Ungar to the Max, the host of the Sports Room Talk Show. Ungar, you know this is my favorite show of the year, my friend.
Yes, and this is the last Sunday without NFL football until 2026. So strap yourselves in because we got storylines all over the place. Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. Terry McLaurin got paid. Trey Hendrickson got a new deal. We got old faces in new places. Rookies coming in. Big returns. Rivalry games. It's all going down.
You know, for the last 30 Sundays, this will be Sunday number 30 without the National Football League on our screens. We have survived watching the NBA playoffs. Well, for me, at least, watching reality shows, sitcoms. Now, real Sundays return next Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going over all our divisional predictions. Then, we're going to be going through our entire playoff brackets. Who will win Super Bowl 60 out at the home of the San Francisco 49ers? And then we will be going over our MVPs, offensive and defensive player of the year, rookie of the year, coach of the year, and who will be the first coach fired. All that will be coming today on this special edition of Championship Rings. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. We will also be live on Tuesday, where we will be having a special segment. Josh, before we get in, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been working up in the lab?
So, I'm not going to give it all away, but I am looking at possible realignment of the NFL.
There you go. And obviously, the NFL realigned in 2002. We know some of the divisions, like why the hell are the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East?
And why the hell are the Carolina Panthers in the NFC South? Or get this one, the Indianapolis Colts are in the AFC South. Last time I checked, Indianapolis is not in the South.
Yeah. So, Josh's been working on this for a long time now. I actually did the exercise back in 2020 during COVID when the NFL was thinking about potentially doing a bubble, and I did it that way. But Josh has gone above and beyond. I have seen a little bit of a template of it. I'm very excited for you guys to see it on Tuesday. But for now, the NFL has 8 divisions. They're separated by the AFC and the NFC. They're known as the East, West, North, and South. Josh, should we kick this off?
Let's do it. I think we have the same division winner for the AFC East.
I believe we do. So I'm going to start with the AFC East. We're going to go from 4 to 1. I'm going to go from the bottom all the way to the top because, again, I think we all know who's going to be at the top of this division. So to me, it's more intriguing to get who's going to be at the bottom of this division out of the way. So to start in the AFC East, in the basement at 5 and 12 will be the team down south, known as the Miami Dolphins.
On this.
So, in my opinion, spoiler alert for later in the show, I think Mike McDaniel will be the first coach fired.
We agree on that.
I think that the Dolphins are a complete mess. I think they are in complete disarray. Tyreek Hill wants out. And I think this will be the last year of the Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, the whole regime. I think Miami's going to blow it up at the end of this year. I think they are a complete disaster. And I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for what the hell is going on in our hometown city of Cleveland, Ohio, I think this team would be the worst team in the AFC. I think they are in for an absolutely objective failure of a season. Look no further than week 1 when they are actually underdogs against the Indianapolis Colts to have Daniel Jones starting a quarterback.
Yes. I do have a team worse than them in the AFC, but it's not the Browns.
Okay. In third place, maybe a little bit of a surprise for you. At 7-10, I have the New York Jets.
You must have read off my AFC East predictions because I have that same damn record for the Jets.
So listen, what I see of the Jets, I think Aaron Glenn is going to take elements of what he had with the Lions, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a topsy-turvy year 1, but I don't think, the Lions started off with a terrible roster, especially on defense, where they lost a lot of those games in Dan Campbell's first year. Aaron Glenn has Quinn Williams. He has Quincy Williams. He has Sauce Gardner. They have Garrett Wilson. They have Breece Hall. My only real concern about this prediction is if it's true that Justin Fields really just can't play quarterback in the league and he can't throw anymore, then the Jets may be in the tanker. But I think what you're going to see is maybe a slow start. By the end of the year, they may get an upset against maybe even a Buffalo or somebody, and you're going to see building blocks for year 2 under Aaron Glenn. Whether or not Justin Fields the franchise or not, I don't know if we're going to have that answer, but that is my pick. Now, in second place, just barely missing the playoffs at 9-8, I have the New England Patriots. I think they are one of the most improved teams this year. I think they have one of the most improved from coach quarterback situations, going from a full year with Drake May now, with Josh McDaniels as his OC, with Mike Vrabel, who is and I'm not even the biggest fan of Vrabel, not as much as most people, but I think he's a huge upgrade over what they had in Gerard Mayo. I absolutely love the pick of Travion Henderson out of Ohio State. He may end up being the best running back in this class. I think they're going to use him a lot. Will Campbell is going to help solidify the offensive line. You have the likes of Carlton Davis, Milton Williams, Robert Spillane, who they brought over via free agency on the defense side of the ball to go on with the pieces they already have. The AFC is so tough with quarterbacks. I flirted with this team being a playoff team for a long time, but I think at the very end, they just unfortunately miss it. And then, no drama. In my opinion, the team that will be, spoiler alert here a little bit, the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills at 14-3.
Again, we agree on the record. What the hell? Are you sure you weren't cheating off my notes?
Who last year, in my opinion, I thought was going to take a step back because they lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis. They moved around a bunch of pieces on defense. And yet, here they were in the AFC Championship game again. And I will say this. I think this is a make it or break it year for Buffalo. At some point, if they don't get past Kansas City and make it to the Super Bowl and win it, there's going to be an emotional breakdown. You cannot lose in the playoffs for 6 straight years and at some point, in my opinion, not fall back a little bit. The James Cook being back and him getting paid also helps. I think this Buffalo team is on a mission. I think they destroy the competition in the AFC East. They may wrap up the division before Thanksgiving. That's where I'm at with the AFC East. Again, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, Bills.
So I agree with you in terms of the order. I have the Dolphins also finishing last at 5-12. Second worst record in the AFC. I just think the Dolphins, they fall apart when most teams are coming together late in the season. You know what's going to happen when they go to play in a cold weather game. And they made a big mistake giving Tua that contract extension because he can't stay healthy. He hasn't shown that he can win when it's time. And I think the Dolphins blow it up. In third place, I have the New York Jets, although I'm going to call them the New Jersey Jets because they don't play in New York, but I have them going 7-10. I think they'll be an okay team, but it's their defense I'm more interested in rather than their offense under Aaron Glenn, because we saw when Detroit was fully healthy how Detroit's defense was flying around, making all kinds of plays. Can he bring that to this Jets defense you mentioned with the likes of Quincy Williams, and some of their other pieces? Can he bring what he did in Detroit to New Jersey? In second place, and capturing the number 6 seed with a record of 11-6.
Whoa.
The New England Patriots. I really like what the Patriots are doing with Mike Vrabel, Drake May, Josh McDaniels, Travion Henderson. Spoiler alert, he's my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
I think he's going to take a lot of the pressure off of Drake May. They're going to be able to establish that play action game with Stephon Diggs. And when you're able to run the heck out of the ball, I mentioned this the other day when we were talking about our college football previews. When you're able to run the ball, that gives your defense time to do what? Rest and recover.
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of what Mike Vrabel's going to want to do. And that's going to power the Patriots to the number 6 seed. I thought about giving them the number 5 seed, but I'm not going to discredit Patrick Mahomes like that.
Okay, that's fair.
And then you and I agree here. Number 1 seed, it's Super Bowl or bust for them this year. I really believe that. 14-3, you have the reigning and defending MVP, number 1 seed. You're facing Lamar Jackson in week 1. It's the Buffalo Bills. It is make or break for them.
Yeah, again, we mostly agree. The only difference we have is that you have the Patriots in the playoffs at 11-6. So I think that is a little bit high as you take a look at our official predictions here. Me and Josh both have the Bills winning the division. Josh again has New England in second place. We both have the Jets and Dolphins in fourth. I am a little bit surprised that we both had the Jets at 7-10. I thought that was a little bit of a swing, but I'm glad you agree with me on it.
Yeah, the Jets were one of the teams I was conflicted about because I could see them going 7-10, but I could also see them going 4-13, honestly.
Agreed. Okay, let's get to the AFC South now. And because I went first in the AFC East, I'm going to let you go first in the AFC South.
Okay, so in fourth place with the worst record in the AFC, because they're led by Indiana Jones, the Indianapolis Colts. I had them making the playoffs last season.
You did.
I really like Shane Steichen as their head coach, but Anthony Richardson, they've seemingly given up on him. And you know when you're turning to Daniel Jones, that smells of, yeah, we know we're a bad team. Rest in peace to Jim Irsay. I wish this team could give you a better season in your memory, but they're not good. Other than Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, they really don't have anything. I do like Tyler Warren, the kid they drafted out of Penn State. I thought the Bears were going to scoop him up earlier, but they went with the other tight end. But I just don't know what to make of this team. They have no. So I'm going with 4-13 for the Colts.
Okay.
Third place, Duval. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 7-10. What is this? Their third or fourth head coach since they drafted Trevor Lawrence?
It would be their third. Urban, Doug, William Cohen.
Okay, this is their third different head coach trying to get Trevor Lawrence going. And if you're having to bring in 3 different head coaches to try and get Trevor Lawrence going after you've given him a contract extension, I don't know who that says more about, the organization or you. So until Trevor Lawrence shows me that consistency, I can't put the Jaguars any higher than 7-10. I just can't do it. Trevor Lawrence is an unknown for me, which, he was supposed to be the next great one coming out of college because we saw what he did at Clemson. And then he comes into the NFL with the Jaguars, and it just has not worked. I like Brian Thomas, the wide receiver they drafted out of LSU. I like their running backs. I believe they have Travis Etienne
and Bigsby as well now. Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I like Tank Bigsby, but I just don't think they have enough offensively. And other than Josh Hines-Allen, who do they really have defensively?
I agree.
So I have the Jaguars at 7-10. In second place and going 9-8, just missing the playoffs. You wouldn't know they had the number 1 pick because nobody really talked about it ever. But I have the Tennessee Titans. I think Cam Ward comes in and brings a spark to this team. I like Brian Callahan as their head coach. It's just, again, it's Tennessee's defense. If I remember,
outside of Jeffrey Simmons, who do they have?
Exactly. I was about to ask you if they still had Danico Autry, for God's sakes.
They may. The only thing I know about the Titans defense, Kevin Byard got traded a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But, Tajay Spears, he's not a great running back, but I think with Cam Ward, they're going to use him better. I know they have Calvin Ridley, who's a bit of an older wide receiver. I'd like to see them get some more weapons for Cam Ward. But I think this will be a solid season for Tennessee. And winning the division at 11-6, claiming the number 4 seed, Houston.
Okay.
So with the Texans, it feels like this is just a layup for them. There's nobody really who's going to be a major threat to them. But again, can you trust this offensive line? We saw how many times CJ Stroud got killed. He did not have time to throw. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, they couldn't stay healthy. They go out and draft 2 wide receivers from Iowa State, which I'm fine with. But again, did they do enough to fix their offensive line? Because their defense is going to be good under D'Amico. But it's that offensive line. Plus, they're going to be without Joe Mixon for at least the first 4 games of the season. So what's their run game going to look like? So yes, I have questions about them. But because the rest of the AFC South isn't really threatening in any way, it feels like it's the Texans by default.
Okay. This division it's always been a weird division, but this has turned into the really weird division. Because, as you mentioned, it does sort of feel like the Texans by default. But is there a world where Trevor Lawrence gets back to his own self? Yeah. Is there a world where Cam Ward has a Jaden Daniels last season? Yeah. Is there a world where the Texans' offensive line, that's what we feel? CJ Stroud, yes. So my predictions are similar to yours, though they're not exact. In fourth place, with a record of 6-11. I hate to do this, Josh. I wanted to make them higher. I wanted to believe, but I'm going conservative with Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
The reason is, as you mentioned, first of all, I don't trust their receivers at all. It is the cast of misfits. Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson.
Yep.
You know, they don't have that go-to guy. I don't even know who the tight end is on their roster. So that concerns me. Their offensive line concerns me. I can't name one offensive lineman for them. So that concerns me. I think Cam Ward is going to give this team a spark. Again, it's going to be better than Will Levis. Like, I think you're going to see growth throughout the year, but I don't think he has, say a Bo Nix impact on the Broncos, getting them potentially into the playoffs. It could happen. I just don't see it.
I still can't believe I correctly predicted the Broncos to get into the playoffs last season.
You did. Now in third place, also at 6-11, I have the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
I like their roster more than you do because you forgot to mention one Jonathan Taylor at running back.
Okay. I did forget to mention him.
How about Quinn Nelson at left guard, one of the best left guards in the league, maybe the best. Michael Pittman. I think Tyler Warren, I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I think he could potentially have a Brock Bowers-esque year with Indy because they don't have a lot of weapons, as we mentioned. I think Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are very smart guys. I just think they're handicapped right now, and they don't know what to do. I don't know what to make of this team. I think they have the infrastructure. Now, we saw Daniel Jones make the playoffs with the Giants in 2022. Could he do it all over again with the Colts? I think there's a world where, yes, he can. But am I predicting it? No, I'm not. Defensive side of the ball, right? They still have DeForest Buckner. Kenny Moore is still there. Kwity Paye is still there. You can see the foundation. It's just not there yet. And unless Daniel Jones takes a big leap. Now, again, they've won 8 games in the past with Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. But I just think the AFC is better now than what it was a couple years ago.
And I do realize that I left out Jonathan Taylor and Quinn Nelson. But with Jonathan Taylor, when you have Daniel Jones as your starting quarterback, I feel like they're going to run the tires off of Jonathan Taylor. Defenses are going to load up and just say, Daniel Jones, you go and beat us, and he's not going to be able to do it.
I agree, but also Daniel Jones is mobile. So I think that will help maybe open up some running lanes for Taylor because you can't stack everything against Taylor because Daniel Jones can run out on the options.
I do understand that, but again, yes, they still have DeForest Buckner. I do like their defense, but when you have Daniel Jones as your starter, no.
I will say they would be better off doing what you predict and completely bottoming out and getting a top pick and going for a quarterback. But we'll see if they actually do that. As much as, again, you mentioned about Jim Irsay and his unfortunate passing, we do have to recognize that Irsay, ever since the Andrew Luck retirement, has been an impulsive owner. And they have been going through the likes of Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. They need to find their next guy. I was a believer in Anthony Richardson. I guess I was wrong on that. We'll see what they do at quarterback.
Get traded to the San Francisco 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan will turn him around.
Okay. In second place, believe it or not, Josh, also with a 6-11 record.
So you're higher on this team than I am.
So, well, I have them all at 6-11. So put them in any order you want is what I'm looking at. I think they're all basically the same team. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
So I have them a little bit better than you because I have them at 7-10, but you have them in second. I have them in third.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically you have the records higher than I do. I'm down on most of the 3 teams more than you. Listen, this is put up or shut up for Trevor Lawrence. You mentioned it. He's on his third coach. Do you know that? Do you remember the 2023 season, CJ Stroud's rookie year, when they started like 8-3 and Trevor Lawrence had that ankle injury? He's never been the same quarterback since.
Yes.
They have only won 4 games as a franchise since having the number 1 seed. It's a very Tennessee Titans Ryan Tannehill-esque fall. Remember when they were the number 1 seed and then he got hurt and they lost like 7 straight games in the season and then they never recovered?
I still remember when they played the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football and the winner won the division.
Yeah, was that the Saturday game at the end of the year?
I think so. Josh Dobbs was the starting quarterback for the Titans.
Yeah. This division's always been weird. Listen, you mentioned it. They have ETN. They have Brian Thomas. We'll see about Travis Hunter. I don't know what to make of him.
Name I forgot to mention. My bad.
He could be the offensive and defensive rookie of the year, or he could be absolutely terrible. I mean, there's really a wide range here for Hunter. It's a wait and see. I like what Liam Cohen's done with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. We'll see if he can resurrect Trevor Lawrence's career. Again, if Trevor Lawrence gets back to that quarterback he was 2 years ago, they are absolutely in AFC South division contention, but I just don't see it.
Okay.
And now, obviously, the winner of this division, as the number 4 seed, I have them winning 1 less game than you do at 10-7. The Houston Texans. And I agree with every point you made. I think they downgraded that offensive line, and their offensive line was already terrible. Now, we'll see if Jaden Higgins or one of these guys from Iowa State they drafted can really pop to give them a number 2 receiver now that Tank Dell is going to be out for the year. They obviously have Nico Collins. Nick Chubb is there to be the backup for Joe Mixon for those first 4 games, but we'll see if Chubb is actually washed or if it was just the Browns offensive line a year ago.
And on top of that, who knows if Joe Mixon's even going to be back after those first 4 games.
Yeah, and like their defense is good. Obviously, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, Al Shazier. We know the names. We know they're led by D'Amico Ryans. Like this team is good. They should win this division, but if the offensive line really struggles, and if their new offensive coordinator, who I don't know their name off the top of my head, but the guy replacing Bobby Slowick, if Houston does not get back to what they were in 2023, then yes, there is an opportunity for one of the other 3 teams in the division to steal it. I mean, this could be a 9-8, 8-9 winner. I just think we were both a believer in the Texans defense and in CJ Stroud enough that he can win this division.
Yeah. I mean, CJ's the best quarterback in this division, but the bar isn't very high, honestly.
Yeah. So that is the AFC South. Now, where I think we may have some disagreement is the AFC West.
Okay, I'm going to let you start on this one because I think you're higher on I'm higher on some of these teams than you are.
At number 4, at 8-9. So think about that. Only a game under 500. So I'm higher on maybe one of these teams in the division than you may expect. 4th place, 8-9. This is going to shock you. The Denver Broncos.
What? What?
I
making the playoffs?
Yes. I think there is a slight regression. The Denver Broncos last year, the only playoff team they beat was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 3. Every other team they beat was a non-playoff team. They beat up on tomato cans, if you will. Bo Nix had a very good rookie year. And I think Sean Payton and them are going to have the ability to build on that. They have a great secondary. I love the pick of Barron in the first round of Texas to go along with Patrick Surtain. But somebody has to finish last in this division. And I don't know if they upgraded on the offense side of the ball enough. I like Evan Ingram as a tight end. I still think they need a number 1 wide receiver. I'm not the biggest Cortland Sutton fan. He disappears to me oftentimes in big games. And listen, the Broncos Again, I think they're a good team. I think some of that last year was they had a fourth place schedule. They beat up on bad teams. They were able to beat a bad Raiders team twice. I just think there's a slight pullback coming. If we both think the Patriots and another team in this division are going to be way better than what they were a year ago, somebody has to pull back. And if you also think the Titans or Jacksonville or Indy are going to be better, somebody has to pull back. So for me, that pullback team is the Denver Broncos.
Okay, I can tell you right off the rip, we're going to completely disagree on this division.
Now, in third place at 10-7, making the playoffs as the number 7 seed. That's right. I also do have 3 teams in the AFC West making the playoffs this year, but it is not the Denver Broncos. It is the Las Vegas Raiders, led by Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Max Crosby, your guy, Geno Smith, and Ashton Genty. I think the Raiders have the biggest quarterback and coaching upgrade in the league this year. And like the Commanders last year, who went from Ron Rivera and Sam Howell to Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn, I think going from Antonio Pierce and Aiden Bleeping O'Connell and Gardner Minshew to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith is a massive, massive upgrade.
And they have Kenny Pickett.
And they have Kenny Pickett. And they have Chip Kelly returning to the NFL as their offensive coordinator. I think the Raiders are going to run the football a lot. I think Ashton Genty is going to get abused pretty much like a racehorse the way the Raiders are going to be using him. I think that Pete Carroll's defensive influence is going to be on this Raider team right away. They may not have a lot of household names, but I think they're going to play better just because Pete is coaching that side of the ball, led by Max Crosby, as I mentioned. And there is a team in the NFL that shocks us every single year that comes out of nowhere. Last year it was the Commanders. I think this year it's the Raiders. And that's why I have them and Denver essentially flipped. I think the Raiders shock the NFL world. They make the playoffs.
Okay. I also have the Raiders at 10-7, but not making the playoffs.
Now, at 11-6, the number 5 seed in the AFC making the playoffs, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I will say, the Rashawn Slater injury concerns me. Whether or not Joe Alt is going to be able to play all year on the left side of their offensive line, that will be a wait and see. Mike Williams retired once they brought him back in camp. They did bring in Keenan Allen, though him and Ladd McConkey, their position sort of seems a little redundant to me. I do love Amari and Hampton out of the backfield. I think he has a chance to have a Travion Anderson impact for this Charger team. They replaced J.K. Dobbins with him. Najee Harris got in order of a fireworks accident over the 4th of July weekend, but he's going to be back at some point to be that sort of ground and pound running back. And in Jim Harbaugh's career, wherever he's been, Stanford, the Niners, Michigan, now here with the Chargers. Year 2 is when you really see that emphasis of Harbaugh take off. I don't think Herbert's going to throw less than 4 interceptions in a season again, but I just think the talent is too good there. And Justin Herbert has to make and win a playoff game this year for people to still call him a top 6 quarterback in the league to me, because he's yet to win a playoff game. I keep hearing all this talent about Justin Herbert. He has yet to win a playoff game. He's 0-2. He's played bad in both those playoff games, losing to the Jaguars and the Texans. I need to see more out of the Chargers this year, and I think we do.
Okay.
That leads us to the number 2 seed in the AFC at 13-4. I'm not predicting a fall off. They're going to shake it off, and when the royal wedding occurs next summer between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, they're going to be celebrating another AFC West division title. Listen, the schedule is brutal. The schedule is brutal. They play every art team in the world. I get it, but they're the Chiefs, and I cannot predict them not winning this division until somebody in this division actually shows me that they can beat them. Despite this division having Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Sean Payton as coaches, they have the best coach. Despite this division having Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and Geno Smith at quarterback, they have the best quarterback. I actually think Travis Kelce is going to have a resurgent year. I think he was embarrassed by the way he played in the Super Bowl last year. When Rashid Rice comes back from his 6-game suspension, I think that will open up the offense even more. I suspect Xavier Worthy to have a Tyreek Hill-esque impact on this team this year. I think they're going to throw the ball deep a little bit more, and we know their defense is always solid. So to me, until someone comes and knocks them off their perch, you can pick against them all you want, but good luck doing so.
Okay. So for me, in 4th place and just missing the playoffs, I like Pete Carroll. I'm a fan of Geno. I agree with you. I think they're going to use Ashton Genty like a racehorse. They have Brock Bowers. They have Max Crosby. Yeah, it's the Raiders. I think they'll have a really good season, but not quite enough to make the playoffs. In 3rd place, also with a record of 10-7 and capturing the number 7 seed in the AFC. Yes, I agree with you. Wherever Jim Harbaugh has gone, whether it's Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan, and now with the Chargers, it's year 2 where he really puts his fingerprints on his team. But it's kind of the same question I've had with a few other teams we've already mentioned. Like, other than Derwin James, who do they really have defensively, right?
Khalil Mack is still there. They add some good pieces.
But like,
Kenneth Murray is still there as a linebacker, and they were the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL last year with not a lot of household names.
I understand that, but like when you don't really have like a go-to guy defensively, that kind of concerns me. I want Derwin James to step up and be that, but he's not quite there yet. Khalil Mack for me is past his prime. And with Mike Williams retiring and Keenan Allen being an older wide receiver, I just don't think the Chargers have enough offensively around Justin Herbert. They'll make the playoffs, but just barely. In 2nd place, going 11-6, capturing the number 5 seed. They will not be celebrating an AFC West division title. Their reign as division champions will be over. Patrick Mahomes will start the season or will start the playoffs on the road, playing in Wild Card Weekend, because that's right, the Kansas City Chiefs are not winning this division this season. I think the Rashid Rice injury or suspension, will put them behind the 8 ball. I like Xavier Worthy, but I don't know if he's going to have that same effect you expect him to. I don't think it was a one-off for Travis Kelce to have that bad of a game in the AFC, in the Super Bowl, And yes, their defense is going to keep them in games. I get it. And they have Isaiah Pacheco. And maybe I'm making a mistake betting against them, but I just see a couple weaknesses. And like you said, their schedule is brutal. They had to play the Eagle. They have to play the NFC East. They have to play, I think it's the AFC East, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me double check on that, so I know I'm not crazy.
I believe it's the South, because I know they play Jacksonville, and I believe they play Houston as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. They play AFC East next season. So yes, they have to play Jacksonville in Jacksonville, which that's a Monday night game. that could energize the Jaguars. We shall see. But maybe I'm making a mistake, but I have the Chiefs finishing second in this division and winning the AFC West and capturing the number 3 seed in the AFC with a record of 12-5. I am a believer. The Denver Broncos are going to win this division. Good luck throwing it against Pat Surtain and Barron, as you mentioned. And I really like Bo Nix as their starting quarterback. Him and Sean Payton clearly were on the same page. I think Bo Nix could turn into Drew Brees-esque. So I really like the Broncos, and I've got them winning the division.
So as you can see on the screen, this is where we completely disagree. So I have the Chiefs winning the division. You have Denver. We both have the Chiefs and Chargers both making the playoffs, different spots in the division. You obviously have Broncos making it. I have the Raiders making it. So we'll see. I think one thing we agree on is the Las Vegas Raiders are going to win 10 games. What I'm interested in is, so you have a 10-win team in 4th place in a division, which I don't think has ever happened in the history of the NFL. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's never happened. And they're not making the playoffs. And I know you already said the Colts are the worst team in the AFC with 4 wins. So that means you think the last place team in the AFC North is going to have more than 4 wins, which means you think a couple NFC teams may have 2 to 3 wins to balance out the schedule. That's the way I see it. So I'm more interested in who in the NFC is going to absolutely stink.
That would be 2 teams. The Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, we're going to get to the NFC in a minute. So, Josh, the funny thing I thought you said about your analysis for the Chiefs was that you're not very high on the Jaguars. You don't believe in them, but you're like, they could beat the Chiefs in week 5. Like, what?
Hey, every season, there's always that one surprise game where you're like, I'm not very high on this team. And then they come out and win a game you don't expect them to.
So, not to spoil anything, we'll get to our week 1 predictions on Tuesday, but I think one of my favorite week 1 bets is Chiefs over the Chargers in Brazil. You give me a full off season with Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh's first game without Rashawn Slater. Well, that's where I'm at with the Chiefs. Any game they're in, you give me Mahomes and Andy Reid for the most part, I think they are going to win. That's why I can't bet against them.
I understand that, and I'm not predicting that Mahomes is going to fall off the face of the earth, but I just think he takes a little bit of a step back this season. I just don't think they have that same explosivity in the AFC, and I know they've gone away from that recently, and they've become more of a defensive ball control type of team. I understand that. But, like, with some of the offenses you have in the AFC, like the Denver Broncos, like the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo, Cincinnati, just to name a few, maybe New England, you got to be able to score points and keep up. And I just don't think Kansas City has quite enough on the offensive side of the ball to do that.
I'll give you a take that I think, here's the thing. If you're right and the Chiefs don't win the division, they won't be a playoff team. That's where I'm at. I think they either win the division or they completely fall off. I don't think that they would be an in-between wild card 10-win team. I think it's like they win the division with 12 or 13, or they go like 8-9.
Interesting. And we've seen Denver has closed the gap on them. I know that last game, Kansas City basically took it off, But even in the earlier game in
They
Kansas,
should have beat them. Remember the blocked kick in Kansas City.
that's
Again.
exactly my point.
Again, like I like Denver. I just think you got to go bold. You got to pick some teams, and you're going bold the other way, and I'm going bold another way. Like I think Denver has this range of like they could win 8 games, they could win 12 games.
You know what's crazy with the Broncos though is like it was just a couple seasons ago they got 70 dropped on them,
and their defense has been like top 3 in the league since that game, not even since that season.
That's exactly my point. Like, you know, after that game, we were all like, what the hell? Fire the defensive coordinator.
And that was the height of the Mike McDaniel era. The Dolphins, the weird thing is the Dolphins have never been the same since that game. The Broncos have been better since that game.
Yes. And like I said with the AFC East, Miami's just a dumpster fire. I mean, I think this Brian Flores court case is actually going to affect them too.
Okay. So the AFC North hosts your team, the Cleveland Browns. The question America has for you, Josh, how bad is it going to get in Cleveland this year? Let's go to the AFC North.
So I do have the Browns finishing in last place, but I actually have them going 6-11. So
that's the most optimism I've heard about a Browns team this year.
They'll find a way to win games that they should and pull wins out of their ass. Like when San Francisco came to Cleveland back in 2023, me, along with basically everybody else, thought the 49ers were just going to steamroll the Browns. And yet, Jake Moody misses the kick, and the Browns handed San Francisco their first loss of the season. And I believe that was the week where your Eagles went to the Jets and lost.
Yes. Oh, my God. Don't remind me of the 2023 NFL season, please.
Too bad.
The Browns made the playoffs with Joe Flacco, and the Eagles collapsed. Unbelievable.
Yes, I know. Flacco Mania is going to be running wild. We'll beat the Bengals again in Cleveland. I know we did it last year, but we own Joe Burrow. Look, we pulled wins out of our butts against both Baltimore and Pittsburgh last year, in Cleveland, and I don't know. I think we go 6-11. What can I say? In third place at 8-9, which would put Zach Taylor very much on the hot seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to flip third and second. Okay.
Hey, I don't have second making the playoffs, and yet they still get to the magic number 10 because Mike Tomlin's just good at that.
Wait, you have 2 10-7 teams that aren't in the playoffs? How is that possible?
Oh boy, that's because I have the Chargers at 10-7 making the playoffs. I have the Chiefs at 11-6 making the playoffs. I've got the Patriots.
And you have New England at 11-6, which means, as I said, somebody in the NFC has to win like 2 games.
Well, I have the Saints going 3-14.
Okay, a little bit of spoiler right there. I don't understand the math, I guess. I'm trying to mathify this. It doesn't make sense.
And I have the Cowboys going 4-13.
Well, thanks for spoiling it.
Anyway, so yes, I have the Bengals in third place. Their offense is going to have to score like 40 points a game because their defense is trash. They have Trey Hendrickson and
Shamar Stewart. They drafted a bunch of guys on the defense side of the ball. Their defense not going to be as bad as you think they are this year, just by math.
I still think their defense is going to be hot garbage. And they always get off to slow starts in September. It's like they're allergic to September games or something. Like, did you expect them to lose to the New England Patriots at home in week 1 last season?
No, they were my survivor pick, and that was the difference between them making and missing the playoffs.
Yes. And back in 2023, they started their season here in Cleveland, and we destroyed them. Again, they are allergic to September games. I know they went on their magic carpet ride to the Super Bowl, which I correctly predicted they would get to the Super Bowl that season. So another pat on the back for me. But so maybe I do know what I'm talking about. But that being said, yes, they have Joe Burrow. Yes, they have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But because Joe Burrow is going to be asked to do so much and their offensive line is still like a turnstile, I can't see them winning more than 8 games. I can't. And then I'm actually going to adjust their record a little bit, and they're going to actually they'll finish a game over 500. I just adjusted their record now.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers will come in and do something. I don't know what that something is, because who knows what Aaron Rodgers does. But they still have TJ Watt, who for me is a top 3 defensive player, if not top 2, at least. It's always between him and Myles Garrett.
There's a guy in Philadelphia who has something to say about that this year.
And a guy in Green Bay now who will have something to say about that. But it's usually between TJ Watt and
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, thank you. And I think the Steelers are going to be able to beat the likes of the Browns and the Bengals. At the very least, I think they split with Cincinnati. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore beats them twice, though. But this is Mike Tomlin. If he doesn't finish over 500, maybe he had an allergic reaction or something. I don't know. But at 9-8, I have the Steelers finishing second, so just a little better than the Bengals. And then capturing the number 2 seed. Because they lose week 1 against Buffalo in the battle of MVPs, I have the Baltimore Ravens at 13-4.
Okay. So we disagree a lot on this division. Record-wise, placement, almost everything. The only thing we agree on is the Browns are finishing in 4th. I have the Browns in last place in the AFC with a grand total of 4 wins. They go 4-13.
So
I would be more optimistic.
You have the Browns finishing with the same record that I've got the Colts finishing with.
Yes. I would be more optimistic about this team if not Joe Flacco, not Dylan Gabriel, but Shedeur Sanders started week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't care how he looked in preseason. He was out there with firemen. And I don't care how Dylan Gabriel looked in preseason. Dylan Gabriel is shorter than me. He can't play quarterback in the National Football League. I don't care what anybody says.
Sorry to cut you off, but I actually really liked Dylan Gabriel coming out of the University of Oregon. I thought he played really well last season with the Ducks. And I agree, you can't put a lot of stock into what happens in preseason. But from what I saw, I thought he played very well. And I liked it when the Browns drafted him. And you could tell when they showed the shot of Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Barry, and some of the others in that room, when they drafted Dylan Gabriel, they were all excited, high-fiving, hugging. And when they drafted Shedeur, they were all like...
Yeah, you know what the conversation around Dylan Gabriel playing well in the preseason reminds me of DeShone Kizer in 2017. And it turns out DeShone Kizer wasn't an NFL quarterback, and he played great in preseason. He lit the league up. Some Browns fans actually thought they had a franchise quarterback. So I think this team is garbage. I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry to tell you that. I think the team is garbage. I think Joe Flacco gives you absolutely no hope. I think Joe Flacco is a washed dinosaur in the weeds. I do not think you guys beat the Bengals week 1. I think the Bengals know they need to get off to a fast start. I think they will make a statement in week 1 by stopping the Browns. I hate to tell you this, in Huntington Bank Field. And I think Myles Garrett is going to be looking at his bank account with $40 million going, who cares? I got $40 million. This team is an abject disaster failure in the locker room. And yeah, I'll tell you something else completely off the rails about the Browns overall. You know what even more concerns me about the Browns this year? The fact that there was a report on Friday that Deshaun Watson may play this season.
I did hear about that. There's a chance he could come back by week 8.
What is the actual belief? I almost said the F word. I restrained myself.
I'm going to. What in the actual fuck?
If Deshaun Watson plays this year for the Browns, the fans should boycott the stadium.
I might do that. If Deshaun Watson comes back, I'm sorry. I might boycott my video collaborations for this season.
So that's where I'm at with this team. I think the organization, I don't respect this organization. They are getting to Dan Snyder, Washington level, in my opinion. Jimmy Haslam, Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski. If you ask me, I know you probably disagree with me on this, but they all need to go. I'm sorry. Start fresh. You need a, and I'm not even, we'll talk about this on Tuesday when it comes to Arch Manning. I don't know what to make of it yet. You need something. You need something to ignite this fan base. And me, the one guy that can do it is Shador freaking Sanders, because everybody's rooting for the kid because he got blackballed by the NFL in the NFL draft.
I understand. So I understand what you're saying with Stefanski and Andrew Berry, but Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there. I've liked the pairing of him and Andrew Berry together, but it's the Haslams that need to go. Bye-bye. Sell the, again, excuse my French, but sell the fucking team. Jimmy Haslam is running this team like he's Jerry Jones, but he's not, going around and talking with reporters and all this, but he is so hands-on with this organization. It makes me want to rip all my hair out. It is ridiculous. And because I don't care what the reports say, the reason we drafted Shador is because of Jimmy Haslam. I don't give a damn what the reports say, if it was Andrew Berry's idea or not. It was all Jimmy Haslam.
I agree with you on that. Okay. I'm going to make third place quick. 9-8, status quo, Pittsburgh Steelers.
So we agree on the record since I adjusted it.
Yes. They will go 9-8. Aaron Rodgers will play okay. I'm not buying into the Aaron Rodgers that I bought in with the Jets and got fooled by last year. Josh, I'm going to tell you something. You may agree with me. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just the New York Jets with better infrastructure. That's what they are. Think about it. When Aaron Rodgers was with the Jets, what do they have? What do the Jets have? Defensive coach, 1-star wide receiver, good defense. What do the Steelers have? Defensive coach, 1-star wide receiver, good defense.
Yeah.
The Steelers are the definition of mediocrity. I don't believe in DK Metcalf having this out-of-body experience in Pittsburgh where he's going to all of a sudden become a top 5 wide receiver in the league. I think he's really good. I don't know how much success he has with Aaron. I think Jaylen Warren's a decent running back, not great the way Breece Hall is. I don't understand the Jalen Ramsey, Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. That one never made any sense to me. I think Minkah's the better player. I don't know what the Steelers are doing. They paid TJ Watt, and now they're even more expensive on defense, and they will go 9-8, and they will miss the playoffs, and whoop-de-doo, Aaron Rodgers goes into retirement, and then they still don't have a plan at quarterback. Who cares? The Steelers are a waste of my time at this point. I don't really feel like talking about them.
Yeah, I agree. They'll go 9-8. Whoop-de frickin' do. And let's see what they have next season with Will Howard as their starting quarterback. There you go.
At number 2, this is where we're going to vastly disagree.
You have the Bengals.
No, I do not.
You have Baltimore?
At 10-7, making the playoffs as a wild card.
Lamar Jackson?
I think there is a slight regression coming from Baltimore.
What?
Their schedule.
Explain this one, Mr. Lewis.
Their schedule is ridiculous. Let's start there. Look at the teams on this schedule. If you go through the Ravens schedule right now, take a look at it. So week 1, they have to go to Buffalo. Very hard game, right? The Browns they'll beat in week 2 at home. Week 3, they play the Lions. I'll give them the edge at home. But then the following week, they have to go to their kryptonite in Kansas City. Am I picking them to win there? No, I am not. So that's already a 2-2 start at best, in my opinion. Then they have to play the Texans, who I think they could beat at home. But then they play the Los Angeles Rams. And I don't know what to make of the Rams this year, but the one thing I do know is the Rams, that's a preseason schedule, I believe.
No, you're right. Here's the regular season schedule. So at Buffalo, week 1.
That's a loss.
Cleveland, week 2.
Win.
Monday Night Football against Detroit.
That's a win.
That's going to be a really good game. At Kansas City.
That's a loss.
Houston, week 5.
Win.
So this is the game you're on right now, week 6 against the Rams.
This is the one that I have them losing at home. They always lose a weird one at home, like the Raiders last year, week 2. This is the one I have them losing at home.
If I remember correctly, they lost the last. Oh no, they beat.
No, they won on the walk-off kick return.
You're right. You're right. Week 7 is their bye week.
Yep.
Week 8 at home against Chicago.
I have that as a win.
Okay. Thursday Night Football at Miami. That is an easy win for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson will run all over the Dolphins. At Minnesota.
I have that as a win.
Okay. At Cleveland.
That's where I have them, like you said, shockingly losing. This is a shockingly bad loss for the Ravens. The Browns with Shador at quarterback. Shock the Ravens.
Okay. Week 12. Jets.
That's a win.
That's a win. Easy.
Thanksgiving night against the Bengals. That's a win.
Okay. I love that they put this game on Thanksgiving in Baltimore. They always put on a show, these two teams. Yes! My favorite rivalry in the NFL.
And that's a win. So I give them a win there. This is where I give them a loss. At Cincinnati, second time in 3 weeks, I think they split the season series.
Okay.
New England, that's a win.
New England could be a tricky game for them, especially if the Patriots are fighting for a playoff spot like I have them.
It could be, but I'll give them a win.
Oh, I'm circling this game.
This is where I
cannot wait.
This is where I give them a loss.
I cannot wait for this game. I'm not predicting this to be the Super Bowl, but it very well could be a Super Bowl preview. I am not going to lie.
So that's where I give them a loss. And then at Pittsburgh, week 18, I give them a loss. I think they'll split with Pittsburgh. It could very well be Aaron Rodgers' last game. So that's how I get them to 10-7, Josh.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything crazy. I think there is a slight regression coming.
Okay.
Now, the division winner at 11-6, the team who you said their defense is hot garbage. It will not be this year. It will.
Yes, it will.
To the middle of the pack, which is all they will need, the Cincinnati Bengals, who will be the number 3 seed in the AFC. I think I forgot to mention I have the Ravens as the 6th seed in the AFC.
So here is the Bengals schedule.
Okay, so let's go through it again. Here we go. Week 1 at Cleveland. I already said that is a win. They will get off to a good start in September.
I have them losing that game. Not even because of my fandom. It's because, again, they are allergic to September games.
They will not be this year. They will get off to a hot start, so that's a win.
Okay, I have that as a loss. Week 2, we both have that as a win.
Yes, we do.
Okay, week 3 at Minnesota.
I actually give them a loss here, so that'll be a loss. They'll go to 2-1.
Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson. That is going to be must-see TV. Okay?
Before at Denver. I'll give them a loss there as well, so 2-2.
Okay, I have them losing this game as well. At Minnesota, for me, I think Minnesota has a little too much firepower, and they have a defense. So I will give them a loss. So I have them starting the season 1-3. You have them going 2-2. Week 5, Detroit.
This is where I give them another loss at home. I think the Lions are more physical.
I agree. Another loss.
I give them another loss. They start 2-4. So now you're going to start seeing the wins pile up here.
Pittsburgh.
At home, I give them a win.
Okay, I agree. Jets, that's a win.
Win.
Okay. I like going. By the way, I like going through these schedules with you. This is fun. We should do this more.
Go on. Week 9, Bears at home. I give them a win.
I think that's going to be a tricky game for them, but I would agree. I think they win. Bye week.
Bye. Now, at Pittsburgh, I'll give them a loss. And then
okay. You got them splitting with Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay.
New England at home. This is the revenge game from week 1. This is the game they win.
I have them losing this game.
So that to me is the big difference. This is the go either way game that I have them winning because this is the revenge game from week 1 a year ago.
I have them losing. I think New England is going to be a very good team this season. Baltimore, they cannot beat the Ravens. I have them losing.
At Baltimore, I give them a loss.
Okay. So we agree on that. Baltimore. Week 14.
This is the one that shocks you. I give them a win here. I think they go into Buffalo. Remember 2 years ago when they went into Buffalo and stomped them? I think they are built to beat the Bills.
I think they have an advantage because if I remember correctly, the Bills are not playing on Thanksgiving this season, correct?
No, they're not.
Okay. So to me, that gives Cincinnati an advantage because that means they will have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all of the next week to get ready for the Bills. So advantage Cincinnati. So as much as I like the Bills, I think Cincy also wins this game.
Okay.
Just wanted to add my own analysis on that.
Versus Baltimore, I give them a win. So, again, I think they split with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I'll give them a win at home.
Okay.
At Miami, I'll give them a win.
Yeah. Oh, for Baltimore, for me, Lamar just always finds a way to beat them. I think Baltimore sweeps them.
So, there's our differences, Josh. You think Baltimore sweeps them, and you think New England beats them?
Yes. All right, at Miami, but I want to finish this off anyway. At Miami,
we
both have that as a win.
Arizona, I'll give them a win.
This is going to be a tricky game because
Arizona going outside in December. Don't want that for Arizona. If it was in Arizona, I think it would be different. And then I'll give them a win at home against the hapless Browns at that point in week.
Yeah, so I think they'll split with Cleveland. They'll get swept by Baltimore, split with Pittsburgh.
So I had them sweeping Cleveland and splitting with Baltimore. I mean, there's our main difference. That's why I had the Bengals, though, at 11-6, making the playoffs as the number 3 seed, winning this division over Baltimore. Though, spoiler alert, when we get to the AFC playoffs, I have these two meeting up again.
Okay. By the way, I'm enjoying sharing the schedules with of these teams with you. We need to do that more often.
Let's move now to the NFC, Josh. We're starting with the NFC South. I'm going to let you go through this division.
Okay. So in fourth place, I know they just hired Kellen Moore as their head coach, but they're starting Spencer Rattler as their quarterback, and they drafted Tyler Shuck. And I don't even remember who their third string quarterback is. But this team is going to be absolutely horrible. They will be the worst team in the NFL at 3-14, the New Orleans Saints. I don't want to say any more about them than I have to. All right. In third place, I'm finishing at 9-8, just missing the playoffs. Bryce Young came on really strong at the end of last season. I like Ted McMillan, though if it were me, I would have drafted offensive line to protect Bryce Young. I have the Carolina Panthers. I think their defense is going to be very much improved, although I think they should have focused a little more on defense in the draft. But they just missed the playoffs at 9-8. In second place and finishing as the number 7 seed at 10-7, Baker Mayfield.
Whoa! Okay.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, spoiler alert, Tampa's not winning this division. I love Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver they drafted out of Ohio State. Baker has come into his own as the starting quarterback down in Tampa, which I'm very happy about for him. I didn't want to give up on him here in Cleveland, although I had my issues with him. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are solid wide receivers when healthy. But I just think Atlanta's going to be a little bit better than them. I like Michael Penix. And that's why the Atlanta Falcons at 11-6 will capture the NFC South and the number 4 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, we cannot disagree on this division anymore besides the bottom. I have the Saints at 2-15 being the worst team in football, potentially maybe the worst team since the 0-17 Browns.
Okay, so you have them winning one less game than I do, but we agree.
I think this team will be unwatchable. They may be borderline 20-point underdogs by week 6. I mean, this may be a college football spread in the NFL. It's going to become ridiculous. This team has no talent besides an aging Alvin Kamara and an old Chris Olave. I guess Cam Jordan on defense. Whatever. This team is terrible. Their quarterbacks are Spencer Rattler and Tyler Show. Like Kellen Moore took a head coaching job because it was available. He could have stayed in Philadelphia one more year and got a better job this coming off season, but he decided to take the head coaching job a year early, and it's what he's working with. So good luck to you, Kellen. I hope you do well. I'm actually rooting for you. Okay, third place. We agree on the team. We disagree on the record. I love the way Bryce Young played last year at the end of the year. I agree with you. The problem is I'm having a hard time believing in teams in the NFC that are worse than Carolina. So I have Carolina at 6-11.
Okay.
I think that is going to be progress, though. Like, I think they're going to be in a lot of close games. They just don't end up winning them. Like, I go for the NFC, right? And I see Eagles, Commanders, Rams, Cardinals, Niners, probably Seattle, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, Atlanta, Tampa. That's borderline 10 teams, in my opinion, that are all objectively better than the Carolina Panthers. At least, maybe 12.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with the Panthers. It's like, I like where they're at. I still think their defense needs a whole rebuild. I like their weapons. I just think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. I don't think they're going to win as many games as you do.
Okay.
Now, this is where we vehemently disagree because it's about the quarterback. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Penix as you are. I saw flashes at the end of last year, but I still don't trust the Falcons. And they have a lot of 50-50 games on their schedule that could go either way. Again, if Penix does a good job, I could see them winning the division or fighting for a wild card. I just don't see it. I think they are a disappointing 7-10.
Okay. So you got Tampa winning the division again.
I have them winning it easily at 10-7. And I even think you can make an argument they could go 11-5 or 11-6 or 12-5. The schedule is very manageable. I love the addition of the receiver out of Ohio State.
Mecca
Buka to go alongside Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Godwin's going to be back within the first couple of weeks of the season, it sounds like. Todd Bowles leading that defense is always very solid. I was going to say this once we got to this team, but to me, the Bucs remind me a lot of the Texans. They're in the South Division, AFC, NFC. They're in a weak division, AFC, NFC. They have a really good quarterback with a really good defense with some good weapons. They just don't have enough to make the Super Bowl. That's how I feel about both those teams.
And they play each other week 2 in Houston on Monday Night Football.
So you're more eye on Atlanta than I am. We both think the Saints obviously are going to be absolutely trash. Everybody does. I think Tampa runs away with this division. I go back to last year, Josh, in week 9, the Falcons had a 4-game lead on the Bucs. They had the 3-game lead plus they had that tiebreaker because they beat the Bucs twice, and they lost the division by 2 games. How does that happen?
I understand that. And I agree. Todd Bowles is going to have that defense flying around. And like I said, I am a big believer in Baker, but I just think Michael Penix is ready to take that next step. The Falcons have handed him the keys, and from what I saw, they figured it out with him offensively. They're going to move him around, and I think the Falcons win this division.
Okay, I'm going to start us off with the NFC West.
This is going to be a really interesting division. You could make an argument this is going to be the best division in the NFL. I really think you would have a strong argument.
I disagree. I actually think most of these teams are going to be down this year than most people think. I like the NFC North. I like the AFC North. I like the AFC West a lot more than this division this year.
Spoiler alert, I have 2 teams in this division going 9-8.
Okay. I hate to do this to you because they're your favorite team in the NFC, but I have Seattle.
Oh, I hate you right off the bat.
I don't get the hype around the Seahawks team. How did they win 10 games? I don't see it. I don't see it on the.
They're gonna win 10 games again.
I don't see it. I don't see Sam Darnold being an upgrade over Geno Smith. I don't see Jackson Smith and Jigba becoming a number 1 wide receiver. I don't see.
Are you crazy?
I don't see him being a legit number 1. I see him being like a Cortland Sutton, like a low end, like a high end 2, but not really a 1. I don't know if Cooper Kupp is going to stay healthy. That's the big
question mark for me.
Kenneth Walker never stays healthy. Their offensive line is not very good. And Sam Darnold's going to be playing a lot in weather. I don't love it. I don't love the fit. Mike McDonald's defense to me, I did not see the imprint in Seattle like you typically see of a defensive coach. I don't understand the Seahawks at all. I just don't. To me, the most exciting part about Seattle will be if Jalen Milroe gets in there towards the end of the year, though I doubt it.
So, before I'll let you finish your predictions in a minute. But in terms of the Seahawks, I have them going 10-7 and finishing second in the division, but not making the playoffs. But here's my thing with the Seahawks. And we both said this about Jim Harbaugh. Once Jim Harbaugh gets to year 2, that's when he starts to put his fingerprints on his teams. I think that we see the same type of thing with Mike McDonald. If you remember, once they got to year 2 with Mike McDonald, because I think he was there for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, in Baltimore, that's when their defense really came together. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was there for 2 seasons. But
so 2022 to 2023. So yeah, it was 2 full seasons.
okay, so yeah, once he got to that second season, I think you saw Baltimore's defense come together, and that's why he was a head coach target for Seattle. And I think it'll be the same thing here. Do I think it'll get to Legion of Boom levels with Bam Bam, Cam Chancellor, and Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman? No, I don't think they have that level of defense. But like I said with Jim Harbaugh, I think you will see Mike McDonald start to put his imprint on this Seahawks team.
At number 3, finishing 9-8, but missing the playoffs,
So
the San Francisco 49ers.
So you are really high on the Arizona Cardinals. Okay?
I am. I think the Niners schedule is a cupcake schedule, but there is something about the Niners that feels off. Yes, Robert Saleh is back as the defensive coordinator, but I just don't know about the young guys that they have. Obviously, outside of Nick Bosa, there's not a ton there, in my opinion. They've had to let a lot of guys go, free agency and cap situation. I think Brandon Ayuk being out the first 6 weeks is a big deal. I don't know if Ricky Pearsall is going to be able to replace the production Deebo Samuel is. George Kittle is good, but he's getting older, and they are one offensive line injury of Trent Williams away from having a bad offensive line. There's just something that feels off about San Francisco, and I don't trust the health of Christian McCaffrey for a full season either.
So I also have them finishing 9-8, but I have them in 3rd.
Okay, well, I also have them in 3rd, so we agree.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
In 2nd place, at 10-7, as the number 6 seed in the playoffs, the Arizona Cardinals. Seed? The 6th seed.
Okay.
The number 6 seed, I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. Where did this belief for Kyler Murray come from?
It's not even about Kyler. It's one, I think Marvin Harrison's going to have a breakout year in his 2nd year.
God, I hope so, because he was like a no-show in his rookie season.
So there's that. There's the fact they have Trey McBride, who popped off as a top 3-ish tight end in the week last year. He's not the highest paid tight end in the NFL. And I don't think people are paying attention to what Jonathan Gannon did on that defensive side of the ball. They added Josh Sweat from my Philadelphia Eagles. They added Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss in the draft, the first-round pick. It reminds me a lot of Jordan Davis when he came out for the Eagles. They added Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan, who was better than Barron, the guy Denver got, in my opinion. He just had an injury in college. Reportedly, he's been locking down the Cardinals receivers in training camp. And to me, he is one of the best defensive backs in the league this year. I think he has a really great year 1, a lockdown corner, Jalen Ramsey-esque type year. So I think combined with the weapons they have, still have James Conner there, the defensive additions, they won 8 games last year, and to me, they improved the roster. So I really like where this Arizona team is heading.
By the way, I just switched my NFC West prediction on the fly.
Okay. And now, as the number 3 seed at 11-6, the Los Angeles Rams. I will say this. There's not a lot to say about the Rams outside of they switched Cooper Kupp for Devontae Adams, which I think is a better switch for them because Devontae is more of a boundary axe. Puka Nacua can go back to the slot. The only thing I'll say about the Rams is this. There is potential for this season to actually become a disaster. If Matthew Stafford's back injury is as bad as maybe we think / know or don't know, he didn't really throw out of balls this year in training camp. It sounds like he's going to be ready to go for week 1, but he is an older quarterback who has dealt with injuries in the past. They don't really have a great backup plan. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the same quarterback he was a few years ago. So if Matthew Stafford has to miss time, I think Arizona could actually steal this division. but I'm going to go with optimism for the Rams here. Say Stafford stays healthy most of the year. They finish 11-6 and they win the division.
So, like I said, I literally just switched my NFC West predictions on the fly. So, I actually have the San Francisco 49ers finishing the last place again in this division.
Okay.
At 7-10. I don't trust Christian McCaffrey to stay healthy. He has shown an inability to do that. You got rid of Deebo Samuel. You got Brian Thomas from Washington. Whoop-de-frickin-do. You have George Kittle, but he's older. I still don't trust Brock Purdy as their starting quarterback. It wouldn't be surprising if they make a trade for a quarterback midway through the season. I don't trust this 49ers team. They made it to the Super Bowl twice, lost. They got killed by the Eagles in the NFC Championship. And I agree their schedule is cupcake, but they'll find a way to screw it up. So in third place, I wanted to put them in the playoffs so bad. I really do. Because I really like Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. And I agree, Jonathan Gannon is making an impact on them defensively. I really wanted to. But again, it's that Kyler Marvin Harrison connection. Until I see improvement from them as a duo, I can't put the Cardinals any higher than 9-8.
That's fair.
Like, I want to have the same faith in them that you do. I really do, because I really like Kyler. I see the potential in this Cardinals team, but if they can figure out that Kyler Marvin Harrison connection, then I wouldn't be surprised. But until then, I have them at 9-8. In second place, just a little bit ahead of them at 10-7, the Seattle Seahawks.
And you have them as a playoff team or no?
No, because I have two teams from the NFC East, two teams from the NFC North, and two teams from the NFC South.
Another 10-7 team missing the playoffs out of Josh.
Yes. I believe Jackson Smith-Njigba is a number one wide receiver, but where you and I do agree is the Cooper Kupp aspect. I don't think that's much of an upgrade for the Seahawks. And like I said, I think in year two, like in Baltimore, this is where you're going to see the Seahawks defense take that next level. I like that they went offensive line with their first round pick, because we've seen in the past, they've drafted running back first round. They've drafted defense. This time they went offensive line, trying to protect Sam Darnold. But I do agree with you that the weather isn't always great in Seattle, so we'll see how he does. But I think they could go 10-7, or they could go 7-10, maybe a little bit worse. The Seahawks are one of those teams. And then finishing with the number 3 seed in the NFC at 12-5.
See him one more game better than I do.
Yes. Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. Again, I agree with you. Matt Stafford's back is the biggest. I think that's the biggest question mark in all of the NFL, actually. I really do. Is how healthy is Matthew Stafford? Because if he's fully healthy, they are a legit Super Bowl contender. But if he's not healthy, this season could go down the drain fast. And I really like their defense. Jared Verse exploded onto the scene last year. And no, I don't have Seattle making.
Oh, you're right. You don't.
I wanted to put them or Arizona in, and there's just a few teams in the NFC that I'm like, I can't put Arizona or Seattle over that. But that's my story with the Rams.
All right, there you go. There's the official graphic. And now let's move to the NFC North. I know we're going to have some disagreements on this one.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
So they won 14 games last year with Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback.
I agree with this, by the way, totally.
This season, they're only going to win 9.
You're higher than I do, I'll tell you that.
Okay. I'm actually going to switch one. I'm actually going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the playoffs.
Whoa, okay, so wait, are you putting all 4 NFC North teams in the playoffs?
No, I'm putting 3 NFC North teams in the playoffs, though.
Okay, so you're taking Tampa out.
Yes. Not
Minnesota. Okay.
No, Minnesota is not going in.
Okay.
But with Minnesota, we don't know enough about J.J. McCarthy. I really like Justin Jefferson. They just traded for Adam Thielen, but he's an older wide receiver. Can Brian Flores replicate what he did with the Vikings defense last season? They fell apart in that last game against the Lions and fell flat against the Rams in the wild card round. I think the Vikings take a step back. In third place at 10-7, making the playoffs under first-year head coach Ben Johnson. This is my switch.
Okay.
Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Playoff football will return to Chicago. They get in as the number 7 seed at 10-7, so just barely. But I think Ben Johnson is going to get Caleb Williams to just play really well. At times, I think Caleb might be in MVP conversation. At times, but he will not win it. I think he's going to try and implement the same type of offense he had in Detroit with the 2 running back system. And that's good. I think that'll be to Caleb Williams' benefit because then he can develop the play action off of that. You've got DJ Moore on the outside. You still have Cole Kmet. You have the who's the other tight end they drafted?
Colston Loveland, the tight end.
Yes, Colston Loveland. I think you'll see
Luther Burden as well, the receiver out of Missouri. They have 2.
Yes. So I think you'll see a lot of 2 tight end sets out of the Bears, and that's going to benefit Caleb. So it's more so because I think they take a step forward offensively rather than defensively. I'm still a little bit like this on the Bears defense, but at 10-7, they capture the number 7 seed. And at 12-5, getting the number 5 seed, they will not win the NFC North this season. Their opportunity to do that, well, let's just say cheese was thrown in their face. Because they're going to lose week 1 in Green Bay. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, the fighting Dan Campbells. But I still have them making the playoffs. That's the number 5 seed. But people are saying, oh, they're still going to be really good even though they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Are they, though?
I don't know. You have them at 12-5, so you think they are.
Yeah, I do. But I think they got off to a slow start because I think it'll take them some time to figure it out on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. But they will get it together and ultimately go 12-5. And then taking the number 1 seed away from the Philadelphia Eagles at 13-4. The road to the NFC or to the Super Bowl is going through the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field. The team that just traded for Micah Parsons. The team that for the first time in 20 years or whatever drafted a wide receiver in the first round in Matthew Golden with Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson. Where are thou, Romeo? And the rookie Matthew Golden, led by quarterback Jordan Love, now with Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons, the Green Bay Packers will win this division. And all the other NFC North teams are going to be like this. Not Green Bay.
So I'm going to actually be rather quick here because I don't disagree with almost anything you said. We have the same 4 teams in the same position. Vikings, Bears in the playoffs as the 7th seed. Lions in the playoffs as the 5 seed. I have the Bears at 10-7. I have the Lions at 11-6, so 1 game worse than you do. I have Green Bay at 13-4, but they will not be the 1 seed. They will be the 2 seed. That is our one difference. I will add to this, though. I am patting myself on the back because this guy actually predicted the Packers to go 13-4 and win the NFC North prior to the Micah Parsons trade. I know nobody will believe me, but I thought this Packers team was underrated going into the season. They reminded me a lot of my Philadelphia Eagles a year ago, where all the talk was, oh, the Niners, oh, the Lions, oh, whoever. And I said, don't forget about my Philadelphia Eagles, even though they had a collapse. This year, the talk has been, oh, the Eagles and the Lions. And I said, don't forget, maybe even the Commanders. And I said, don't forget about the Green Bay Packers because they did make the playoffs last year. They won 11 games where Jordan Love was mostly earned most of the year. And Josh, you know I'm not a big believer in Jordan Love. This year, I am going into the season, and I will tell you, even before the Micah Parsons trade, I was very high on this Green Bay Packer team. You can look it up on my Substack where I posted these NFL predictions. I kept the narrative in there that I had for the Packers before the Micah Parsons trade as proof.
So I just want to go through the Packers schedule. So that's preseason. Hold on.
Preseason.
Week 1,
Win.
Lions.
Win.
I agree. Week 2, Thursday night football against the
Win.
Commanders.
At home.
Okay. I agree. Win.
Win.
They're
win,
going to start.
Win. They're starting 4-0.
4-0. I agree. Bye week.
Win.
Agreed.
This is where I have them my first loss.
Really?
This is a sneaky one.
Please explain.
At Arizona, West Coast game. I already talked about Arizona is going to be a playoff team. This is a game that they're going to need to win.
And surprisingly, I have them losing their first game the following week on Sunday Night Football in the Aaron Rodgers Bowl in the Steel City.
See, I have a different take. I think there's no way they lose that game. I think that's a blowout for Green Bay. I think Aaron gets embarrassed that game on Sunday night.
I think Pittsburgh's defense shows up.
Okay.
Week 9, Carolina. Look out for this game. Carolina has played them pretty well the last few times.
That's fair. I still like Green Bay, though.
I agree.
This game decides the number 1 seed in the NFC for me.
This is the biggest game of the NFL schedule. Without a doubt, I am going to find my favorite spot on the couch, and I am not moving my ass.
So, spoiler alert here. There's no way I'm picking against my Eagles. Come on.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles run at least 20 tush pushes just to shove it in the Packers' face. And there's Tom Grossi, by the way. Shout out to him.
Obviously, win.
Yes.
Win here at home against Minnesota. I'll give them a loss on Thanksgiving.
I agree. So
they split.
Yep. Win.
I'll give them a win against Chicago at home.
I
I have them going into Denver and winning this game.
I have them losing this game.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have them losing at Chicago. I think they split with Chicago.
This is the other game that I'm circling with a big red circle. This Baltimore game.
I have them winning the Baltimore game, and then I have them winning against Minnesota. I have them sweeping the Vikings.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's where I have them at 13-4, and I have them, as I mentioned, as the 2 seed because the number 1 seed in the NFC needs no introduction.
No, they don't. I know who you have as the number 1 seed. I know they're the defending Super Bowl champions. I get it. I just had the Packers being 1 game better than them. 1.
So there's no need to spoil it. Obviously, we know Philly's in first. Who is second for fourth? At number 4, at 2-15, tied with the New Orleans Saints for the worst record in the NFL. It's not the Dallas Cowboys, though. It's the New York Giants. Listen, I like their defensive line. I think they may have the best defensive line in football. Kayvon Thibodeau.
I have the Giants doing a lot better than you do.
I could see them winning 8 games. They have Kayvon Thibodeau. They have Dexter Lawrence. They have Abdul Carter. And they have Brian Burns. Here, and they have Malik Neighbors, and they have Russ, and they have all that. Here's my issue. Does Brian Dable even last till October? Look at that schedule for the Giants, Josh, and try to find me 4 wins.
Let's pull it up.
Pull it up. Because I try to find it.
Like I said earlier, this is really fun doing this with you, of pulling up team schedules and going through them. We should do that more throughout the season. I'm not even kidding.
I'm open to it, but go ahead and pull up the Giants schedule because find me 4 to 5 wins. I cannot find them.
Okay.
Period.
Giants,
at Commanders, loss. At Dallas, to me, at home, give the edge of Dallas. That's a loss to me.
See, I have the Giants winning that game.
Okay.
Kansas City at home.
There's no way. There is no way. There is 0% chance. 0.
Giants home opener.
No. 0.
I disagree. I got
0.
the Giants winning.
No. Just no. That's the worst take you've said all day. No. 0. Loss.
That I agree with.
Win.
Yes.
Loss.
That is an easy loss.
Loss. They
can win that game, actually.
Not against San Francisco. They're too physical. Niners are still too talented. Loss against Chicago.
Agreed.
Loss.
Easy loss. Agreed.
Loss.
Why is this game on Monday Night Football? Why?
Old school rivalry, I guess. Super Bowl rivalry. I don't know. That's a loss. Jackson Dart will be in way before then, by the way, because they stink. That's another loss. Again, find me these wins. Loss. Even Minnesota's better than them. Vegas, we know, is going to be better than them. That's a loss. Dallas, they might win that last game, but I don't know if they can. I mean, I see 3 to 4 wins maximum for this team.
Okay, spoiler alert. I have them finishing third in the division and somehow, some way going 8-9.
I will bet you anything you want. They will not win 8 games. Anything you want. We'll put anything on the line. I'm that confident. I've never been more confident in a prediction in my life that the New York Giants will not win 8 games this year.
It would not be surprising if they do worse. I just think Brian Daboll is going to figure it out once Jackson Dart comes in as the quarterback. It's not going to be with Russell Wilson, but once Jackson Dart comes in, I think the Giants will be reinvigorated, and that's how they get to 8 wins. Okay,
so number 3, I have Dallas at 5-12. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're going to be bad. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. What I do want to spend time on is, if you've been paying attention, Josh, to my NFL predictions, you do know that I only had one room for an NFC East team.
So
Which
you have the
means
Commanders missing the playoffs.
at 10-7, barely missing the playoffs due to losing the Monday night game at home against the Bears because Caleb Williams gets revenge for the Matt Eberflus disaster on the Hail Mary Week 6 on Monday Night Football. At 10-7, the Washington Commanders barely miss the playoffs. I think they have won so many one-possession games last year. There is a slight regression. And as I've been saying all offseason, outside of Deebo Samuel, which we don't even know if he's the same guy that he was in San Francisco, what have they done to upgrade the receiving core for Jaden Daniels? They've done nothing, and they just got Terry McLaurin back. And the defensive, they really didn't upgrade that at all. I don't see a lot of major moves on this team besides Laramie Tunsil. I think that's their best move of the offseason. I like that move a lot, but I don't think it's enough to move the needle. I think for the first time since 2004, the NFC East has a repeat champion at 13-4, the number one overall team in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. So, in fourth place at 4-13, because I don't care that they have Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. You have Brian Schottenheimer as your head coach. And oh yeah, Jerry Jones is still your owner. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. I don't want to spend any more time on that team than I have to. Like I said with the Giants, I think they figure it out once Jackson Dart becomes their starting quarterback. Not with Russell Wilson. 8-9. I wanted to put the Commanders as the winner and continue the tradition of the NFC East not having a repeat winner. But until somebody proves me wrong about Jalen Hurts, I can't do it. So at 11-6 and capturing the number 6 seed, I have the Washington Commanders. They re-signed Terry McLaurin. For me, that was the biggest story of the offseason, not the Micah Parsons situation. Now they have him back in the fold. They did add to their offensive line. And I like Jaden Daniels. But come on, the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions. You're not just going to take them out that easily.
And here's the thing, a lot like our Super Bowl, well, unlike, I should say, our Super Bowl 52 team, this team is young and they are hungry. And I do think there is an aspect to, Josh, what has the conversation been about the Eagles all offseason? It wasn't, oh, can they repeat as Super Bowl champions? Is Jalen Hurts a good quarterback?
Yeah, which I don't understand. But here's my one big question mark with the Eagles, and I think you'll agree with me to a certain extent. They lost a lot defensively. So what's their defense going to be like this season?
So as a fan, I understand that question from your perspective. But as, again, a fan of the team, I don't think people realize the in-house replacements we have for those guys. I am expecting Jackson Hunt, who had a good game in the Super Bowl, to have a Josh Sweat-esque year. For Morna Joro to have a Milton Williams-esque year to replace him. My biggest worry on the defense side of the ball is, are they going to be able to replace Darius Sway as the number 2 corner? That is my worry. Can Kiwi Ringo or Dory Jackson be as productive as Sway? Because I do think Mitchell is going to be a great number 1 corner. That's my one worry about the defense. But I'm not so worried about the defensive line losses because they do have guys to replace them.
I understand that, but you lost the likes of like Josh Simmons, right?
Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat.
Which Hunt is going to replace him. I think Hunt's going to be a really good Josh Sweat-esque player by the end of this year.
I don't know why I said Josh Simmons.
I don't know either.
I meant Josh Sweat.
And John Campbell was a first-round pick, a linebacker. I think he's going to make a huge impact as a rookie.
Is Zach Bond still there, or is he gone?
Zach Bond is still there. We paid him. He's there.
Okay.
John Campbell is still there.
Right. But that's my big question. As a fan and as a general analyst, is your defense.
Okay.
I just don't know if it can reach the same level it got to last season.
We've gone through all the divisions, so it is time to make our playoff and Super Bowl predictions. The way we're going to do this, I think I should go through my entire AFC and NFC side of the bracket. Then we'll do yours, and then we'll talk about the Super Bowl. So, in the AFC, as a reminder, this is what I have in terms of the standings. I have Buffalo as the 1 seed, which will set up a wild card matchup between the number 7 seed Las Vegas Raiders and the number 2 seed Kansas City Chiefs, an AFC West matchup. I think the Chiefs will win that matchup. I think it will be not even close. The Raiders are a nice story. They make the playoffs. They get blown out by Kansas City. The number 6 seed, the Baltimore Ravens, they go to the jungle to take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And Josh, this is where I think Bengals fans are disappointed because I think Lamar does go over Burrow in the playoffs. And the Ravens go into Cincinnati and win on the road. And then we have the rematch of last year's wild card round between the Chargers and Texans. I think the Chargers get their revenge on the Texans for that game. They advance. That sets up a divisional round that you can wet your beak to of the number 5 seed Chargers going to the number 2 seed Kansas City Chiefs for a third time. So I have a lot of divisional rematches in the AFC. I have the Chiefs winning that for the third time. I think they will defeat the Chargers in Kansas City after the Chargers actually beat them in Kansas City in the regular season. And then that sets up the number 6 seed Buffalo Bills the number 6 seed Ravens, at the number 1 seed Buffalo Bills, a rematch of last year's divisional round. I think Josh Allen once again defeats Lamar Jackson, which sets up another year, Bills Chiefs, AFC Championship game, but this time it's in Buffalo. And Josh, if it's not this year, when is it going to be the year that tables will be burning? Because the Buffalo Bills will be going back to the Super Bowl for the first time since the 1990s as the number 1 seed. Their last year at Highmark Stadium, they represent the AFC.
If that happens, Buffalo will burn, not just tables.
Now, representing the NFC, I have another NFC North playoff rematch between the Bears, 7 seed, the Packers, the 2 seed. I have the Packers winning that game, and I don't think it's particularly close. I think Caleb will struggle in his first playoff game. Green Bay advances. I have the 6 seed Cardinals taking on the 3 seed Rams in another NFC West third time showdown. This is a rematch from the 2021 playoffs when Arizona got blown out by the Rams. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I think the Rams do advance in that game. And then the number 5 Detroit Lions against the number 4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Now, we know these two teams have played a lot of close games the last couple of years. I think the Lions have the better roster. I don't think the weather will be an issue down in Tampa for a dome team like the Lions. I think they go into Tampa, they win that game. That sets up what the Lions fans think should have been the NFC Championship rematch a year ago between the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Lions going into Lincoln Financial Field in January is a tough ask. I think my Eagles will advance to play the Packers in a rematch of last year's NFC wild card in the NFC Championship. And this is where, Josh, I'm gonna go off the rails here. I'm gonna shock you. Again, this is where I predicted this prior to the Micah Parsons trade. I had the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl prior to the Micah Parsons trade, and I have the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl this year against the Buffalo Bills. As much as it pains me to say it, it's really hard to go back to back. I don't want to put a curse on my team, so as much as I want it to happen,
Madden might have taken care of that for you.
Yeah, as much as I am rooting for it to happen, as much as I may switch my pick on January, right now, like I had the Lions over the Eagles in last year's NFC Championship, I have the Packers over the Eagles in this year's NFC Championship in Philadelphia.
Okay. So with me, let me pull up my notes so I know I'm not crazy.
I have the standings here if you need help for you.
Okay. So I have the number 7 Chargers taking on the number 2 Ravens in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson just runs all over this Chargers defense. Ravens win. Then I have the number 6 seed Patriots taking on the number 3 seed, the Denver Broncos. Sorry, New England, but this is where your magic carpet ride comes to an end. I really like them defensively, but I got Denver. And then the number 5 seed Chiefs, taking on the number 4 seed Houston Texans. Don't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You will regret it. Chiefs win. So that takes us to the divisional round, which would send the Chiefs to take on the Ravens, I believe.
No, they take on the Bills.
Oh, yes. And then that would mean Broncos at Ravens. Okay. Like you said, this game's going to be in Buffalo. If not now, when? Like I said, I don't fully trust Kansas City offensively. Josh Allen finally does it. He slays the Chiefs dragon and gets Buffalo to the AFC Championship, where he will take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship or AFC
divisional round.
And even though the game's in Buffalo and it's the final season at Highmark Stadium, you will not be jumping through tables.
Wow.
Because Lamar Jackson will go into Buffalo, beat Josh Allen, and the Baltimore Ravens will go to the Super Bowl to take on, spoiler alert, the Super Bowl MVP, Jordan Love, and the Packers.
Okay, so I'm assuming then you can go through your NFC side of the bracket. This will be interesting.
Yes, I have like I said, I have Green Bay as the number 1 seed. So I have the Eagles hosting the Bears in the wild card round. Come on. Caleb Williams making his first playoff start in Lincoln Financial Field. No chance. Philadelphia wins that one. The number 3 seed Rams, they will host the number 6 seed Commanders. I've got Washington winning that one.
Okay.
And then the number 5 seed Lions, they will head down to the ATL to take on the Falcons. Atlanta's good. Detroit's better. I got Detroit. So tell me my divisional round.
So your divisional round then. So if you have Washington and Detroit winning, that would send Washington to Green Bay and Detroit to Philly.
Okay. And that's those are exactly the matchups I wanted. Detroit at Philly. Right? Yeah,
correct.
Detroit, Philly.
Yeah.
The game people thought should have been the NFC Championship last year. Like you, I don't trust Detroit in Philadelphia in that snow. They are a dome team. They will fight you because they are the fighting Dan Campbells, but Philadelphia wins. Essentially, you and I have the same NFC Championship.
We have the same NFC Championship result, just in a different location. I actually have Green Bay going into Philly. You have Philly coming to Green Bay.
Yes, and that's what makes the difference for me, is the fact that the game is being played in Green Bay, in Lambeau, in January. I know Philly is comfortable playing outdoors in the snow, but it's different playing in Green Bay late in January. I got the Packers. They face the Ravens in Super Bowl 60. and the Green Bay Packers will hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Jordan Love wins Super Bowl MVP. I'll even give you a final score prediction. Packers, I think this is going to be a bit of a higher scoring game. Packers 31, Ravens 27.
I have Packers 24. Buffalo Bills 31, baby. They're jumping through tables. Josh Allen is the Super Bowl MVP, but spoiler alert, he's not going to win the regular season MVP. Because
I
Josh,
have Jordan Love winning regular season MVP.
I do as well. And by the way, again,
No, I said I don't have Jordan Love winning.
Oh, you don't? Okay, because I have Jordan Love as my regular season MVP. And again, I had this pick prior to the Micah Parsons trade. I'm going to say it again. I think the Packers are really good. I think Jordan Love breaks out this year. He is my MVP.
Okay. I really like Jordan Love, but sorry. Lamar Jackson takes his MVP back.
Okay. Now, for Offensive Player of the Year, if they're going to give it to a quarterback, why not give the Offensive Player of the Year award to a different position? Hello, the Madden 26 cover athlete, a guy who once again is going to go nearly, I don't know if he's going to get to 2,000, but close to 2,000 yards. Saquon Barkley is my Offensive Player of the Year.
I also have an NFC player winning it, not a running back, but a wide receiver. And he wears purple. Justin Jefferson.
Do you think he's just going to put up a boatload of stats then, basically?
Yes.
Okay. For Defensive Player of the Year, I've been shouting it from the rooftops. This guy's the best defensive player in football. Jalen Carter. My Philadelphia Eagles take home not only the Offensive Player of the Year, but the Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. He just got traded to Green Bay. He's now going to be wearing number 1.
Okay.
Micah Parsons.
I like it. Now, Rookie of the Year is a little bit tricky. You could go a cop-out. You could go with Travis Hunter and say he's going to win on both sides. I don't think that's going to be the case on either side. I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raider running back Ashton Genty, who I think is once again being used as a racehorse. And I think Ashton Genty is going to win a lot of fantasy leagues this year.
Okay. In terms of offensive rookie of the year, I'm also going with a running back, just not Ashton Genty. I spoiled it earlier. From the New England Patriots, Travion Henderson.
I like that pick. I think Henderson's going to have a big impact in New England. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, as much as I think this team is going to stink, I think he's going to have a lot of sacks. I'm taking Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of your Penn State Nifty Lions.
See, this is where we agree. I also have Abdul Carter winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Now, for Coach of the Year, you could go many different ways, right? You could go the guy that shocks the NFL and gets his team into the playoffs, like a Pete Carroll or a Mike Vrabel, as we both have predicted. Or you could go with a guy who maybe has the best record. Originally, I was going to say it's going to be Matt LaFleur because I thought the Packers were going to surprise people, but now I think everybody has Green Bay winning the division. So I'm going to switch my pick, and I'm going to go with that guy, Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders, because I don't think anybody's going to have them in the playoffs.
Okay. Because they steal the division away from the Kansas City Chiefs, I got Sean Payton.
I like that. And then obviously we both agree on this. We've said it at the top of the show 2 hours ago. Mike McDaniel is going to be fired maybe by week 5.
I fully agree. This Dolphins team is a total dumpster fire. I think they need to end the Tua era. It was a mistake to give him a contract extension. I don't know what the Dolphins were thinking.
So we just went 2 hours, folks, going over our complete NFL predictions. The clip will be up on Championship Rings over the next couple weeks. We don't have a lot of differences, more so in the wild card. as opposed to division winners, besides like the AFC West, the NFC South. We have disagreements, but we have a lot of agreements too. This is always one of my favorite shows of the year. As I mentioned, we'll be back on Tuesday. Josh will be doing his NFL realignment. We're going to be going over all the big college football games in week 1, and we'll preview week 1 of the NFL season. Josh, anything else before we get out of here?
Just as a little spoiler, I do have the NFC North staying the same. Nothing has changed with that division. Also, the Chicago Cubs are signing Carlos Santana.
Okay, well, good for him. Hopefully he makes a World Series run. That's all we got for today's edition of Championship Rings. Thank you guys who tuned in for our 2025 NFL predictions. Again, we'll be live 48 hours from now. Me and Josh debating for the third time in 5 days. We'll see if that gets testy.
Yes. You go enjoy Clash in Paris. I ain't wasting my time with it.
That's fine. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. And peace.